It's truly captivating when you pause to really consider it. Picture this: billions of us orbiting on this azure sphere in the cosmos, each harboring that identical longing, that universal yearning. We mask it in various ways, naturally. Folks label it isolation for some, ambition for others. Certain ones pursue it via successes, while many seek it out through material gains. Yet peel back those layers of pretense, those artful veneers, and what's left at the core? The innate urge to give love and receive it in return. That's the essence of humanity itself. More primal than the drive for food, more enduring than the quest for safety. You might satisfy your appetite, secure a place to rest your head, and still sense profound hollowness, like drifting through existence as a specter, invisible, uncontacted, unrecognized. But here's the twist that makes it compelling. We've utterly botched the whole affair. The purest, most instinctive aspect of life has morphed into a tangled web, a negotiated exchange, a source of suffering that rivals anything else we endure. How did that happen? We've blurred the line between love's facade and its true form. We've swapped the genuine article for a mere transaction. Let me pose a question to you. At what point did you realize love came with strings attached? Reflect on that. Rewind your memories. Maybe as a kid, you saw how warmth flowed more readily when you behaved well, tidying up, earning top grades, staying in line. Or perhaps you picked up that grins appeared more often if you proved helpful, kept quiet, molded yourself to fit expectations. Then again, it could have hit during those initial sparks of romance, when you learned that holding interest demanded a show, being captivating, appealing, accomplished enough. In those instances, a notion took hold, a belief that love is earned through merit, granted only if you fulfill the criteria. The problem with that mindset, though, is profound. It sprouts and flourishes into a landscape of misconceptions. By your 30s or 40s, after enough years to glimpse the reality beyond illusions, you start grasping the odd charade you've enacted. You've bartered fragments of your identity for fleeting endearments. You've acted out roles in a play where the crowd remains perpetually underwhelmed. And the weariness, the sheer drain of it. Allow me to explain the fallout from constructing relationships on contingencies. You end up with an illusion that mimics love, echoes its tone, even simulates its warmth temporarily, but at its base, it's altogether different. A deal, a compact. You supply my wants, and I'll meet yours. Shape yourself into what I require, and I'll do the same for you. For a spell, maybe months, even decades, the agreement endures. Balances are struck. Commitments are honored. The framework holds firm. Yet no one warns you about the vulnerability of deals. They're brittle, reliant on everyone upholding their end indefinitely. Life, however, delights in upending that. People evolve, adapt, situations alter. The version of you from the pact's inception has transformed, and so has the other party. The foundation crumbles because it presumes humans are static, foreseeable, steadfast like a binding agreement demands. But we're anything but mechanical. We're flowing streams, shifting climates, always in flux, evolving beyond our former selves. So, when fulfillment of the pact falters, when you can't deliver as anticipated, suppose unemployment strikes, erasing the stability you pledged, or disease arrives, dimming the vitality or allure that drew them in, or you just weary of the pretense. Suddenly the facade slips. What seemed like affection unveils as duty, routine, or emptier still, a void where care once resided. I've witnessed this pattern endlessly. Devoted partners pouring years into loyalty and presence, only to awaken one morning knowing they were never fully perceived. They served a function. They filled a gap. But cherished? Not deeply, not in the soul-sustaining manner. The sting of that truth hits like realizing you've addressed a vacant space forever. You believed in an attentive ear, but met only reverberations. That's the essence of love tied to conditions. It's not inherently malicious. Few intend harm. Still, when affection hinges on actions over essence, letdown is inevitable. Deeds evolve, offerings deplete. If that's your sole worth, its absence erases the bond too. Let me emphasize this plainly. I'm not claiming partnerships ought to lack reciprocity. Of course, people ought to. Genuine affection naturally shows up in acts of kindness, in acts of support, in tuning into what others require. Yet there's a vast gap between offering that stems from abundance and offering driven by anxiety. The former is like an outpouring from a soul overflowing with generosity. The latter is a frantic effort to lock in devotion, to prevent abandonment, to demonstrate your value. You sense that contrast, right? When someone shares from a place of plenty, it feels effortless, infused with delight. No tallying points, no anticipation of matching payback. They offer simply because the giving itself feels fulfilling, because the gesture alone sparks joy in them. But when someone shares from a void, from longing, it carries a heaviness, a load. You pick up on those hidden ties, the silent demand that you'll repay in kind. And that's not affection. That's an exchange wrapped in the guise of warmth. The real sorrow is how we've been conditioned since we were kids to play out these exchanges. We figured out young that warmth had to be won, that fondness came as a prize for acting right. So we devote our days to proving ourselves worthy, to fulfilling the terms, to grasping the connection we desire. But it falls short every time, doesn't it? Even when we hit the mark, even when we nail every step, there's this lingering awareness that we're not fully understood, that if the facade ever cracked, if they glimpsed the true self under all the effort, they'd walk away. And that's how we end up caging ourselves. We lock into bonds where authenticity is impossible, where openness feels risky, where true relaxation evades us. We stay switched on, constantly acting, forever upholding the charade of being the version they signed up for. And the weariness of it, stretching over years and years, it saps your vitality completely. You turn into an empty shell, just mimicking the routine, puzzled why something meant to spark happiness now weighs you down so much. Let me share a truth about authentic affection. The type that doesn't sour into bitterness. It's no deal, no agreement, no cut quote. True affection means liberation. Liberation to show up as your real self, no faking, no show. It's about being truly visible in your chaos and flaws and still held dear. Not for what you've merited, but just for being alive. But here's the twist, and it's a major one. You can't embrace this sort of affection until you've started extending it to yourself. That's the harsh truth everyone resists. We all hope the perfect partner will arrive to patch our inner gaps, that their devotion will mend our scars, affirm our value, complete us. But that's not how it plays out. It simply can't. Kagos, a soul famished for affection, will inevitably twist even its noblest moves into deals somewhere deep down. It will extend, sure, but it'll be observing, gauging, anticipating the payback. Consider it. When you're aching for acceptance, every bit of goodwill you extend holds a quiet beg. Return the feeling. Notice me. Pick me. And the other person, even without fully grasping it, senses that load. They detect the pressure, the craving, the insistence, and it builds a tension that real warmth can't withstand, because lasting affection, the enduring kind, needs breathing room. It needs the liberty to offer or withhold, to linger or leave, without the whole bond being threatened. So now the key question: how do you quit chasing affection so desperately? How do you nourish yourself so fully that you don't rely on someone else to confirm your worth? The response is straightforward yet challenging. You have to reconcile with your own self, not in that superficial motivational sense, but in the profound way of fully embracing your essence, all facets of it, the pieces you celebrate and the ones you conceal, the triumphs and the stumbles, the strengths and the fractures, everything. This isn't simple. Our whole society pushes the notion that you should always be upgrading, always evolving into something beyond your current self, sharper, tougher, more accomplished, more appealing. And woven into that push is the subtle claim that your present self falls short. But imagine if you're already sufficient, if you've always been sufficient, not due to accomplishments or merits, but purely because you're present, because you are. Something vital sparked your life into motion. Name it as you like. God, the cosmos, the profound enigma, existence in its raw form. No matter the label, it ushered you in without your consent, without requiring you to justify yourself up front. You were brought into being through care before you could earn a thing. The dawn breaks over you each day without scanning your credentials. The breath sustains you without inquiry. You're enveloped by an immense, bountiful energy that affirms your existence as a testament to boundless affection. Once this truth penetrates deeply, a transformation occurs. You start to grasp that you're not some supplicant lingering outside existence, pleading for mere remnants. No, you're fully immersed in the bounty. You're already embraced, cherished, and complete. From this stance of abundance, you offer affection without conditions, not to secure rewards, but because it's your innate essence. It surges forth naturally when you're no longer guarding your vulnerabilities or striving to acquire more. When individuals connect from such a foundation of sufficiency, a profound change unfolds. There's no urgency, no clinging, no perpetual worry about retention or departure. Rather, an effortless harmony emerges, a mutual acknowledgement. They don't rely on one another for wholeness. Thus, they select each other purely out of desire, and such a voluntary decision, untainted by pressure or deficiency, surpasses countless frantic pledges. This is affection that avoids tallying debts, that remains warm even amid unmet hopes, that encounters you in your darkest moments without recoiling, for it never hinged on your achievements to begin with. It stemmed from the mere reality of your presence. And your presence can't falter, it can't underwhelm, it just endures. Yet, to speak candidly, such affection is uncommon. Not due to its complexity, but because few pause their endless pursuit to uncover it. They're consumed with seeking externally what resides only internally. They shift from one companion to another, from bond to bond, ever anticipating the subsequent one will transform everything. Convinced that locating the ideal partner will align all pieces, but it doesn't, since the issue was never the partner. The issue lay in embodying the unfit self. You can't connect profoundly with another until you've delved into your own depths. If you've avoided quiet reflection on your thoughts, anxieties, or sorrows, you'll never truly engage another's. If self-forgiveness for flaws eludes you, you'll withhold it from them too. If solitude feels like a void, you'll transform every connection into a desperate anchor. And others perceive this. They detect when they're summoned to patch an emptiness. It wears them down. So, prior to pursuing affection, before concluding you require another for fulfillment, attempt this. Settle into your own company, truly immerse in it. Free from diversions, devices, clamor, or haste, just you and your essence. Observe what arises, the unease, the fidgeting, the inner critic urging more productive pursuits. Then recognize that critic isn't you. It's merely a notion, a routine, an imprint from past experiences. Beneath the tumult lies quietude. Within that quietude, serenity dwells. Not the sort from resolving all enigmas, but from relinquishing the need to. The serenity of mere vitality, inhaling and exhaling, inhabiting the now without demanding alterations. Brushing that serenity, if only briefly, eases something within. From that ease, true affection emerges. Not the possessive, demanding variety, but one that bestows without ledger-keeping. One that lingers or departs, guided by authentic concern, not duty. And the wonder lies here. Cultivating that serenity internally allows you to discern it in others. You identify those who draw from their inner reservoirs, who seek no repairs or completions from you. When such souls converge, it's not about salvation. It's two integral presences opting to journey side by side temporarily, exchanging gifts, drawing insights, evolving jointly, yet retaining their cores. Here's the profound twist. Cease craving affection, and you open to it. Halt the pursuit, and it approaches, for you're no longer extending a pleading hand, empty and expectant of handouts. You engage as one brimming with plenty, bearing offerings, capable of generosity that doesn't deplete. And this magnetizes. Others are pulled in, as encountering someone unceasingly extracting, siphoning vitality, or plugging endless gaps is so scarce. Thus, to thrive in love and attract it, begin inward, abandon efforts to merit it, cease validating your worth, forsake the acts, the facades, the twists into forms you imagine desired, rather direct attention inside. Reconcile with the self encountered, not through mending every flaw, but by embracing that nothing requires. You're no fixer-upper project. You're not damaged or lacking. You're a vibrant, pulsing embodiment of existence, and that suffices. It's forever sufficed right there. Love isn't a pursuit or a reward you strive for. It's your essence. It streams from you effortlessly, just as sunlight radiates from the sky. And whether it's reciprocated by others matters less, since you're not offering it to receive in return. You're sharing because sharing defines you. Through that sharing, you uncover something extraordinary. You realize you were never hollow to start with. You've always been abundant. You've always been cherished. You simply lost sight of it temporarily. And once you recall it, once you truly perceive it, the whole world shifts. You quit pleading for scraps and grasp that you're already seated at the banquet. You cease hunting for a partner to make you whole and understand you were never partial. You abandon the effort to merit affection and instead embody it. From that embodiment, from that abundance spilling over, you connect with people, not as vacant containers yearning to be topped up, but as streams converging with streams, each brimming from its own origin, merging not from desperation, but from the pure delight of blending briefly. This is the affection that endures amid shifting situations. This is the affection that avoids resentment when hopes go unmet. This is the affection that witnesses your rawest moments and stays, because it never hinged on your finest acts. It stemmed from acknowledging that under every facade, every part you play, every narrative you spin, you share the same vitality, the same awareness, the same essence animating all things and souls. How could existence cease adoring itself? So, here's my call to you. Cease seeking affection externally. Quit striving to prove yourself deserving. Drop the acts and the facades. Turn inward instead. Encounter your true self entirely. Embrace yourself wholly, not for being flawless, but because flawlessness was never the prerequisite. And from that embrace, from that serenity, observe the transformation, See how affection starts pouring from you without strain. See how fitting individuals enter your world, not to rescue you, but to share the rhythm with you. See how existence itself starts to resemble the warmth you've longed for. The affection you desire isn't lurking elsewhere to be discovered. It's here within you, poised for acknowledgement. And when you behold it, when you truly comprehend it, you'll see that you were never rejected, never isolated, never unfinished. You were eternally cradled by something immense, boundless, entirely unconditional, so vast that it evaded your notice because you sought something tinier, something you could seize and steer. But genuine affection defies capture. It demands only release into it, and in that release you find that you embody it. You always have, and you always will.